You are listening to the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. We are continuing Anna Gale Line's third novel in the Jaguar and Peacock series, Lost on Planet M-142. Trapped on the hostile world of Planet M-142, Commander Jessa Peacock Masters of the Intergalactic Intelligence Bureau has spent 3 grueling months undercover, investigating a mysterious cult led by the enigmatic blind prophet, Danielle Jabot. Is Jabot a visionary, a fraud, or something far more dangerous? The deeper Jessa digs, the more tangled the web becomes: secrets, deception, and whispers of an impending assassination. When her husband and fellow operative, Nate Masters, finally joins her, their mission takes a deadly turn. Someone wants Danielle Jabot dead, and the list of suspects is as vast as the stars. As Jessa and Nate race against time, they must navigate a treacherous world of fanatic followers, shadowy enemies, and their own rekindled partnership. With every step closer to the truth, one question looms: is Jabot the target, or the mastermind? This is episode 9. If you have not subscribed, do so now, and hit the bell to be notified of new episodes.
Did you see Mason's face when I mentioned that Danielle had a son? That deer in the headlight look really doesn't look good on him. I started, surveying the room. Simple yet powerful. The use of blues made a person comforted, like watching an ocean. Jabot had placed a conversational area in one corner with 2 chairs, a coffee table and a long couch that sat at a 90-degree angle, parallel to the wall the door hung on. This area was separate from the working area with the desk and picture window. Nate walked around the desk and sat on the edge, facing me. "Peek, I think you are losing sight of your original assignment," he whispered, reaching for my hand. "No, I haven't. I remember. I was sent here to take her down. Instead, you have become extremely close to her. You treat her like a friend, instead of a suspect." I shook my head, standing up. I faced the window, peering out at nothing in particular. My arms folded. I've watched her kill in cold blood. I've watched her steal money from her members, punish them and dress them down. The cult members were gathering outside in the compound for the morning meal. Servers were bringing food on large trays to the long, picnic tables. I've seen her make people think they were her best friend, and stab them in the back literally. What makes you think she isn't doing that with you? The way she talks and looks when she is with me. She uses more of a low tone. With the others, she always has this irritated tone in her voice, and her vein in her neck throbs. I turned around to see him. Have you ever heard of the old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer? I subscribe to that philosophy. I have been disgusted by her behavior, and I'd like nothing more than to make her pay, but I know that someone is trying to frame her and the cult for these bombings. And even though I think she is the scum of the earth, I can't let her go down for something she didn't do. When we've got so much evidence of what she did do. He reached out and grabbed me by the waist and drew me closer and interpreted, "So your plan is to find the real bomber and take down all the bad people in one foul swoop." He reached up and pushed my hair out of my eyes. "That's a dangerous game you are playing." He cocked his head to the side and decided, "It's a good thing I'm here to watch your back." I could get defensive at this moment, but I am not going to, I replied, leaned over and kissed him. "We have too much to do, and I want to be home in time for Remy's birthday. That only leaves us 12 days. Then we have to get to work." He held me at arm's length and prodded, "What do we know?" "We know that someone called the Liberty and told them not to contact me," I started, putting my hand on my stomach. Lizzie kicked furiously. "That means that someone on this planet knows my true identity." "We know that. Dr. Philip Matthews." "Do you really think he'd reveal it?" "Peek," Nate coaxed, playing with my hair. "You still don't remember, do you?" "Remember what?" I knocked his hand down and swung around toward the window. "What are you talking about?" "What don't I remember?" "You seriously don't remember?" he questioned, putting his hands on my shoulders. "Philip Matthews is a convicted rapist. You took him down almost single-handedly. And he said that he would pay you back. Are you sure we are talking about the same man?" Philip acted as if I were an old friend. I ran my fingers through my hair. Yeah, I know it's the same man. His nose is messed up where I broke it. He massaged my shoulders. He tried to assault you. I think that's why you don't remember. But how would he know that I didn't remember? I probed, still peering out the window. The followers were now eating eggs, bacon and toast from the looks of it. How did he get out of prison? A chill flew up my spine. He turned me around to face him and supplied, I read in his file last night that he was released from prison for good behavior a few years ago. He put his hands behind my neck, resting my head in his hands. It was a long time ago. But how would he know that I didn't remember? I repeated over and over again. Nate held me in his arms, pressing me against his body. I felt his heart beating in his chest. It's okay. I rested my head on his shoulder. Unless he drugged me with a memory-erasing drug, I contended. I rose my head slightly. That's it, isn't it? He drugged me. I freed myself from his embrace and stared at him as though he had just told me that he had killed someone in cold blood. You did know. You knew and didn't tell me, I declared, backing away from him with every word until I felt the desk behind me. Nate reached for me. Peek, be reasonable. I have amnesia. How was I to know that I hadn't told you? I thought that you would eventually regain that memory. Be reasonable. Be reasonable, I screamed, grabbing the edge of the desk to steady me. I took several deep breaths before continuing. Jag, if I had kept something, anything, from you, you would have freaked, no matter how insignificant it might seem. I gestured frantically. In fact, you had a fit when you found out about my dinners with Graham. He crossed his arms, his eyes seething. Was that before or after your marriage to the Masters brothers? After Ben died and before I married you, I answered, hopping up on the desk. That's not the point. Graham is dating Bree now. The point is that you are supposed to be on my side. I am on your side, Nate countered, walking toward me. You know I am. I turned my head away from him. I thought I knew that, but with or without this memory loss, you still didn't tell me that Philip Matthews drugged me and tried to assault me. He grabbed my face and forced me to look at him. I'm sorry, but I know that your trust is very important to me. If I kept this from you, I must have had a very good reason. I just wish I knew what that reason was. I let my voice trail off. I twisted at the waist and picked up my quan pad. But at the moment, I don't have time to figure it out. I have a bomber to track down. We have a bomber to track down. Let's go over this again. Someone on this planet knows my identity, possibly Philip Matthews. That person made a call to the Liberty, stating I wanted no contact with them. I jumped off the desk and walked around it. I paced from one side of the office to the other. We also know that someone bombed Star Oak and then the trailer bank, and the bomb was comprised of copper wiring from Echo 6 and the chemical itronium. We know that itronium is a chemical that causes red blisters and high fevers in people who come in contact with it, which is highly contagious. I moved from the left side to the right and back again, glancing briefly at Nate. And we know that someone that fits Saber March's description bought the copper wiring, and that he knows how to locate that copper wiring, added Nate, watching me go back and forth as if he were watching a tennis match. I stopped in front of the desk and noted, we also know that Danny has a son named Take, and how many Takes can there be? So you think that this Take Lewis is Danielle Jabot's son? I nodded slowly and voiced, I think we have to work under the assumption that they are one and the same. Which leads to the question, of why no one knows about this son of hers. Maybe there is something she doesn't want anyone to know about. Danny is a very private person. Maybe the father isn't a person she wants the public to know about. Maybe he's married, suggested Nate. His eyes widened. Maybe she's married. I twisted my mouth, then justified, or he could be a criminal of some sort. But if you think that Saber March and Take Lewis might be the same person, why would Take want to frame his own mother? I threw my hands up in the air and admitted, I have no idea. Then a thought struck me. Didn't you say that Take was adopted? Maybe he doesn't know she's his mother. Maybe he does know. At that moment, I felt as if someone walked on my spine with ice-cold feet. Just then, I caught a glimpse of a man a few feet away from the window. "Duck!" we screamed in unison. I waited for Nate to squat behind the desk before I slid down in front of it, instinctively holding my stomach. Within seconds, bullets pelted the window, shattering the glass. The sounds of repeated rounds of ammunition being fired rang in my ears. Mason beat on the door to no avail. "Why do you have this door locked?" he asked, more to himself than to me. "Listen carefully, Mason. Gather everyone inside the building and go down to the panic room. Stay there until I come and get you," I called out to him. "What's happening, Jada?" "Mason, just do it. Your life and the lives of the others depend on it." I heard him march away, mumbling to himself. "Jag, you okay?" I shouted out when the shooting quieted. "I'm fine," he replied, shaking the glass off his shirt as he cautiously stood up and moved toward me. "You okay?" "Yeah." Glancing down at my body, I brushed the glass from it. I solicited, "Do you think that the intended victim was Danielle or me?" He shook his head. "I don't know, but I am going to find out." He put his arms around me. This time I didn't resist. I grabbed my quan pad that had fallen when the shooting started. Noticing a nearby bullet, I sent a picture of it with a note to Colin, my chief security officer and brother-in-law, that read, "Lancelot, need your help. Run a ballistics report on this bullet. Thanks, Peacock." "Lancelot? Who's Lancelot?" Nate demanded, scanning the message over my shoulder. "Our security chief. He helps us out on cases from time to time. He knows that we are." "Hey, didn't you say that Joey's husband, what's his name?" Nate recalled, snapping his fingers repeatedly. "Charles, Kane, Caleb, Colin, was our chief of security?" "Very good. Colin and I saved you from a travel tram rigged to explode. So I gave him the unofficial codename Lancelot." Within minutes, Colin sent a reply. "It's from a very specific weapon," he wrote. I read the rest of his message to Nate, an ESA-78. Made exclusively on Echo 6. "Are you or Nate hurt? These types of weapons have laser-guided targeting. They rarely miss their targets." Nate and I exchanged amused glances. "Someone's determined, aren't they?" I quickly wrote back, "Nate and I are fine. How's Joey and the kids?" "The kids are doing well, but Joey's feeling a little under the weather. She's in the hospital. Going to check on her now. Come home soon." "We all miss you both," came Colin's reply. I let my head fall on Nate's shoulder. "How did you know the shooting was coming?" "I heard the gun cocking. I have trained myself to hear sounds like that even from a distance away." He stared down at me and wondered, "You said, duck, too. How did you know?" "I saw him loading the gun, pointing it at the window." "Did you get a good look at him?" I shrugged my shoulders and assented, "Not really." He was about 6 feet, 200 pounds, dark hair, in a black jumpsuit, silver-rimmed glasses. I rubbed my eyes. It happened so fast. He kissed my cheek. If that was a rushed description, imagine what you could have seen given more time. We just sat there a few minutes before unlocking the door and dealing with the aftermath of the shooting.